Once upon a time, in the middle of the forest, there lived a house with 3 bears. A great big papa bear, a medium-sized mama bear, and an itty-bitty baby bear. Now one day, Mama Bear decided to make some porridge. And she spooned out a great big bowl for Papa Bear, a medium-sized bowl for Mama Bear, and an itty-bitty bowl for Baby Bear. But it turned out that the porridge was too hot. So they decided to go into the forest to gather berries to eat with the porridge, while the porridge cooled down. Now it just so happened at the edge of this forest there also lived a little girl named Goldilocks, because she had the most beautiful golden locks of hair. And normally she stayed and played in her yard, but today, as she was playing in her yard, she heard the most marvelous sound. Tick, 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 tick. And she looked up and she saw the most beautiful, brightly colored bird she'd ever seen. It was a woodpecker. And she watched the woodpecker rat tat 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 tat, pecking at the tree. And it was the most fascinating thing she'd ever seen. But pretty soon the woodpecker, well, he ate all the bugs that were in that tree. And so he flew off to the next tree. And Goldilocks, being so fascinated, just followed him. And the woodpecker would go to one tree, rat, tat, 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 and he would peck and he would eat the bugs that were there. And then he'd fly to the next tree, and the next tree, and the next tree, until soon Goldilocks couldn't keep up. But she'd follow the sound, rat, tat, 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 off in the distance. But soon she couldn't even hear that. And she looked around and she realized that she was all lost and that she'd never been to this part of the forest before. Well, Goldilocks thought to herself, I guess I'll just have to find my way out. And so she picked a direction and she started walking. But she didn't pick right. She started walking deeper and deeper into the forest until she was very tired. And it was about that time that she came upon a little cottage in the middle of the forest. And do you know which cottage that was? It was the house of the 3 bears. Well, Goldilocks was just so happy to find anyone at all that she ran right up and knocked on the door. Tappa, 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 tappa. But nobody answered. But the door swung open because, bears, they don't lock their doors. And so Goldilocks went in and she called out, hello, hello, but there was no one there. Now Goldilocks, she was just so tired and so hungry from her trip through the forest that the smell of the porridge was so wonderful that she decided, oh, there's porridge on this table. I'm sure they wouldn't mind if I just ate a little. Whoever lives here wouldn't mind if I just ate a little. And so she got a spoon and she tried some out of the big bowl. And she said, oh no, this one is too hot. And then she tried some out of the medium-sized bowl. But she said, oh no, this one is too cold. And then she tried some out of the little bitty bowl. And she said, oh, this one is just right. And she ate it all up. Well, after eating all that, she decided she should find a place to sit down. So she tried sitting in the great big chair. But the great big chair was too hard. And then she tried sitting in the medium-sized chair. But the medium-sized chair was too soft. And then she tried sitting in the little bitty chair. But the little bitty chair, even though it was just right, tipped over backwards and broke all to pieces. Well, Goldilocks knew that she needed to stay around and apologize, so she looked around and looked around, but she couldn't find any other place to sit that was comfortable. So she went upstairs and she found the beds. And first she laid down in the great big bed. But the great big bed was too hard. And so then she tried the medium-sized bed. And the medium-sized bed was too soft. So then she tried the little bed. And the littlest bed was just right for her. And she fell right asleep. Well, pretty soon the three bears came home. And the three bears, they saw the door was open. And so Papa Bear came in first. And he says, "Wait, let me come in first." And he sniffed around. And he sniffed and he sniffed and he said, "Someone's been eating my porridge." And Mama Bear came in. And she sniffed around. And she said, "Someone's been eating from my porridge too." And Baby Bear came in, and he looked at his bowl, and he said, "Someone's been eating from my porridge too, and they ate it all up." Well, now the three bears didn't know what was going on. So they sniffed around some more, and Papa Bear sniffed around, and he said, "Someone's been sitting in my chair." And Mama Bear said, "Someone's been sitting in my chair too." And Baby Bear didn't even have to sniff around. He looked at his chair and goes, "Someone's been sitting in my chair, and they broke it all to pieces." Well, now, quite concerned, the three bears crept upstairs. And Papa Bear sniffed around in his bed and went, "Someone's been sleeping in my bed." And Mama Bear sniffed around and said, "Someone's been sleeping in my bed." And Baby Bear said, "And someone's been sleeping in my bed, and she's still in it." Well, it turns out that the three bears looked down at Goldilocks, and when they thought there would have been a big scary intruder, turned out to be just a little girl. And so they poked her, and she woke up, and she started crying because there was three big bears. But Mama Bear said, "Don't cry, little girl. What's your name?" She said, "My name's Goldilocks, and I'm lost. And I found your house, and I'm sorry, but I ate your porridge, and when I sat in the little chair, I broke it all to pieces, and I didn't mean to. But I was so scared and lost and hungry." And the three bears said, "Well, that's okay. Well, where do you come from?" And she says, "Well, I live at the edge of the forest in the white picket house. In the house with the white picket fence." And Goldilocks and Papa Bear said, "Well, I know just where that is. I'll take you to it." And so the three bears took Goldilocks home, and they all made new friends that day. The end. I love you, Analisa.